This is not an RV. Welcome back to Miller's in Motion.
Not in so much motion.
Not at the moment, no. Well, this is going to be a fun video because I know we've hinted, and by hinted I mean flat out said, that we've been looking for a toy hauler.
For a long time now.
For a long time now. This idea grew out of the Tampa show this last year in January.
Yeah.
And, well, in a nutshell, we've picked one.
Yes, finally.
So, stay tuned to the very end of the video because we're going to leave little nuggets. We're not going to tell you exactly what toy hauler we're getting quite yet.
But that's your first nugget. It is a toy hauler.
And it's in the process of being purchased. And we're getting ready to leave for Indiana to pick it up in just a few weeks.
That's right.
So, but we do want to talk about our decision-making process and the three manufacturers that we've told you we've narrowed it down to so far. We're going to talk pros and cons, and if you're considering buying a rig or a toy hauler, specifically, hopefully this will help you out and just kind of go through what we went through over the last, ever.
That's right. And your decision, of course, may not be the same, but we hope that the thought process kind of helps guide you and think of some questions.
So we also do want to say a huge thanks to my parents because if you noticed, this doesn't look like an RV or an RV park, so we've been family crashing.
They've been kind enough to host us and the dogs.
And the dogs. That's the bigger ask. But we've been crashing with them now for about a week. We have about another week left here until we get moved into the new rig. So
that's right, because we're moved out of our rig.
So, you want to just get into it?
Let's go.
So why don't we start with the newest guy on the block, Brinkley RV.
Yes.
Shiny.
Everybody's drooling over the Brinkley, and we are too.
Yeah, it's a pretty rig.
No doubt.
So, what are some of the things that you really liked about Brinkley?
All right, obviously the aesthetic. Everybody's loving it. We are no exception to that. Love the aesthetic of it and how they're using the space. I thought that was so important, and I like to see that coming. The second thing I really liked is that the quality seems to be on point.
She says seems to be because it is a new company.
Yep.
So, innocent until proven guilty.
Right, exactly. And so, but based on the way that things that we saw were done and some of the reviews we've been hearing, things are very well done.
So for me, like she said, the aesthetic, I am not the biggest fan of RV graphics. And I'm going to even say paint jobs. And this is a blanket statement. I don't like the NASCAR big swoops. That's not my cup of tea. I like very simple streamlines. Winnebago has a motorhome. I don't remember the name of it. That's just kind of a couple of lines.
I think it's the Ellipse.
Down the side. Nope, it's not.
It's not. Okay, never mind.
That does not exist anymore.
They're still pretty.
Well, but just clean straight lines. That's why I like the exterior of the Brinkley so much because it's very clean looking, streamlined, that kind of stuff. Same with that. I like the interior and some of the construction stuff. If you haven't got a chance, we actually toured the factory and took you around and showed you kind of what they're doing. And so there's a lot of really good things that are going on there.
Right, absolutely.
So what are some of the downsides for you?
Well, and the other thing that I liked was that we'd be kind of helping the community grow from the ground up, which we see as important. The downsides, they're not proven. They are the new kids on the block.
It's a brand new company.
We don't know the longevity of it. We don't know how customer service works. There's so many question marks. And for me, being the accountant between the two of us, the price tag was also a little bit of kick in the pants.
And we are talking about toy haulers specifically, so we're talking about the G model. So apparently it's too hot in Texas this time of year, so the camera kept overheating because we were outside, so that's why we're magically inside now. So, Brinkley!
Back to Brinkley.
But the cons, like the heat in Texas is a con right now. Why are we in Texas? Because we're switching rigs and we don't have a choice.
All right, so as far as cons go, I just can't even. So as far as cons go, the first thing being that they are the new kids on the block. So things are still kind of unproven. And it's not that we have doubts in this regard, it's that we don't have a track record to go on.
I have a little bit of doubts. Not from what they've said or anything else, but you just don't know.
You just don't know, exactly. And so that's your customer service, that's your longevity, that's your quality over time, all those good things. Right?
So my thing, too, is that they're not the cheapest.
From the accountant, That's a big concern.
So I will say we are talking specifically about toy haulers.
That's right.
Their fifth wheels are actually pretty reasonable. Now I say that, I don't know if they technically fall into a mid-profile category or a luxury category. They kind of float between the two. So if you're considering it a mid-profile, it's expensive.
Right.
If it's a luxury, it's cheap. So depends on how you look at it. But the toy haulers as a whole are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
With the MSRP starting around about 180, give or
Yeah.
take, depending on how it's equipped, and go down and up a little bit. So
That's a tough pill for us to swallow as we're trying to kind of use our resources to get on the road.
one other thing for me that is a little bit of a negative, and a lot of people like this, and I like the idea of it, but again, it's one of those not proven right. There's a reason why most RV manufacturers don't use square windows.
That's a good point.
So if you ever know why igloos were used and domes are used for different types of things, there's strength in a curved angle. When you have a straight angle, and there is technically a teeny little curve at the end, but it's pretty straight, it's more brittle. You don't see square windows on airplanes. You don't see square windows on RVs. So if it works, great. Makes me a little nervous.
Right. We don't want to be the guinea pigs.
Yep. The only other aesthetic thing that actually kind of bothers me, the window shades.
Really?
I love everything about the windows and how the window shades work, but because that window shade's internal, they have to use the cable string, whatever that thing is. And so the blackout curtains have a teeny weeny little hole all down the center. So if it's like, let's say you're in Alaska in summer and you get like 2 hours of darkness,
I getcha.
there's still light that's going to come through there. I am a light sleeper at certain times, and light will wake me up. So I don't love that. Now,
There's solutions if you really wanted the rig.
there are, and you can fix those types of things.
This is pretty nitpicky.
So, and it is, but it seems like a really good rig.
Right.
For us, the biggest thing really is whether or not it's going to hold up to the test of time. So,
And the cost.
and the cost. That too. So, anything else on Brinkley?
Nothing else on Brinkley.
So before we move on to the next manufacturer, I want to get out of the house.
You know what that usually means when it's hot and in summer? Ice
cream.
It's my favorite food group.
All right, bonus content has very little to do with picking an RV or a toy hauler or talking about manufacturers, but we're on our way to Brahms. What is your favorite ice cream place? Lauren?
My favorite is Brahms, and I'm going to add a fun fact. This is my 5th day in a row to get ice cream. I told you ice cream was my favorite food group. I'm not kidding. And yes, Brahms is probably my favorite of those. Bluebell, close second, and HEB's ice creams are third.
So here's the real question. How many times has it been Brahms of the 5-day streak?
This will be 2 of 5 for Brahms.
That's not bad. I was expecting more, but full disclosure, it's Lauren's birthday. So she got ice cream for her birthday because that's her favorite dessert. So yeah, that's part of the reason why it's this way.
That was not the reason for Sunday. Sunday was we wanted shakes. That was Fat Kid 101.
It was, and it's okay. Little fun fact too, filming of RV Unplugged, when we wrapped up, I'm pretty sure we went to Brahms 3 days in a row, and by far the person that had never had it that is now very much so in love with it, do you know who? Because you weren't there.
Who?
Charity.
Oh, Jared. Oh, that's right.
From Grateful Glamper.
Yeah.
We got close for the rally, and the first text we all got from her, so when are we going to Brahms?
And you bet we went to Brahms.
All right, what's the go-to Brahms order?
It is a small chocolate mix with M&Ms.
I know what you're thinking. Why has this turned into an ice cream episode all of a sudden? Because we like it. In case you're curious, mine at Brahms is just straight ice cream. Mint chocolate chip might be the best mint chocolate chip ever. And their chocolate's pretty solid too, so I get a little scoop mixture in a cup.
I'm going to point out, it is 8 o'clock at night. It is still 100 degrees. We're at the park watching everybody run and exercise, and we're eating ice cream. So.
And I fully intended on getting out, showing some cool cinematic area,
It's hot, and there's ice cream.
All right, so back to RVs.
So, we've talked about Brinkley. Mm-hmm. Do you think we should pick a Brinkley? Or have we picked a Brinkley? Let us know. Let's talk about Grand Design.
All right, the one that we know, the one that we've already had plenty of experience with.
And if for some reason it's your first time here, we currently live in a Grand Design Solitude, the full fifth wheel, not a toy hauler, 390 RK-R that we've been in for about a year and a half-ish now. So, what are your pros?
The pros are the familiarity. Like, we know how customer service works. We know how everything works with them. We know what level of quality to expect. There are a lot of things that we do know, and that provides a level of comfort. Grand Design is known across the board for, service and quality above other brands. We can't say that it was entirely top-notch the whole way, but we can say that it was good. So I think that there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, talking about the pros of it, I think that they make one of the best RVs on the market out of factory.
Right.
So they seem to do a decent job of backing that up on the customer service side.
Right.
Now, some things in the last few years at Grand Design have changed.
Right.
They were purchased by Winnebago, and I don't know if it's because of Winnebago being the main owner now, or if they've just built so many rigs they have that much product in the marketplace. When we called in with customer service issues, it took a little longer to get all the way through to where we get a resolution.
Yeah.
Now, we also have a funky thing that we bought a new rig in the state of Texas. While residing in the state of Texas, there's a weird franchise law here that requires us for any warranty work to take it to the dealership we bought it from. And that caused some issues too. So how much of it is that? How much of it is Grand Design?
Yeah, exactly.
And we got good people, and we got people that weren't that great at Grand Design too. So, I think that's true of any company that when they hit a certain size. So
it is.
Aesthetics, as far as, and we're talking momentum now.
Momentum, yeah.
I like the 22 and 22 aesthetic better than the 23 aesthetic.
Agreed, yeah.
They lightened a lot of stuff up. Now, is that a deal breaker? Not really.
No, I wasn't sold on the aesthetic, period. So it kind of fell into the con category for me.
All of them, no matter what year.
Yeah, the momentums in general.
Okay. They are probably technologically the more advanced of all of the rigs.
I agree with that, yeah.
Because everything's integrated to the one control app, so you can see your temperatures, your tank levels, all that stuff. Now, that's a pro and a con.
Yep.
It's a pro because as long as you have your one control into internet that's on, like you have Starlink up or whatever, you can see all that stuff, and you can turn ACs on from wherever. The con there is that there's not a lot of manual switches because of that.
Right.
So if something were to happen to that one control, you're kind of stuck. Now, I know in the 23s and 24s, they're starting to add more manual switches back. But I don't know how much of that has taken place or not, because we look at them. But the 24s aren't out yet. So we're basing all this on 23 models. So. Right.
And I will say kind of a pro for me is, and we're not going this deep yet, but the floor plan we were looking at has been around for a long time. It's proven. And so that was a level of comfort.
Yeah, so if you ever have owned a rear kitchen like we have in our Solitude, you'll realize that stuff moves a lot. And that's not the end of the world. Just for us, I guess we probably should talk about the upfront of why we're switching, because we've said on the channel a few times now, but the quick synopsis is we really need a separated space that if I'm on phone calls or something because I work from the rig and she's just trying to relax, we can shut a door.
Absolutely.
I can be at a workspace, she can be on the couch or the kitchen or wherever, and we don't have to move. Right now, if I'm working and on a call and need my computer, I'm in the living room / kitchen / office, and the only place she has to go is the bedroom.
That's right. And even if I'm quiet in the same room, his ADD is phenomenal at picking up on the fact that I'm playing on my phone.
That truck.
Exactly.
Squirrel.
But also now Mom can come with us and have her own space. So there were just several factors and needs we didn't realize that we had.
Right. So. Plus, she shows horses. So a golf cart to move hay would be I always squeeze that golf cart in there.
Yeah, always.
Aesthetics as far as Grand Design, quality as far as Grand Design, it's pretty top notch. It's also expensive. Now, comparing it to Brinkley, what we just talked about, Brinkley only has one floor plan in the toy hauler right now.
Right.
So when I said the MSRP, that was that floor plan.
Right.
Momentum, there's different lines of Momentums. There's the M class, the G class, and then just the standard Momentum, which is the big boy.
And that's what we were looking at.
Right.
For comparison.
And so not the cheapest thing either.
No, it's still up there. That's for sure.
If I remember correctly, for the most part, again, different floor plans have different cost levels of MSRP, and we're only talking MSRP because I don't know what discounts are out there right now and all that as far as it fluctuates so much. It was comparable to the Brinkley.
It was.
They're right there. So I'm going to say for the most part on the average is around 180 MSRP for the big version of Momentum, the
what
full
we were
grown.
looking at. Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Oh, another pro is the Grand Design rallies. I forgot about that.
Community.
That's community. Those are pretty cool. And you can get like service stuff done there, hang out with people, learn all kinds of things. So that definitely falls into the pro category.
Yeah. Again, Brinkley, I know we're bouncing back and forth now a little bit, but Brinkley has intentions of doing that kind of stuff. But because they're so new, there's not that many out there to do a rally with any of that. So again, that's just one of those things that they're a few years away. Pro and con.
Exactly.
So, all right. Anything else on Momentum?
I think that's all.
What was the third one? We're not talking about it right now, but what was the third? I don't know why I'm doing this.
I don't either.
So, last but not least is going to be Alliance, but we're going to finish these. More importantly, to keep the camera from wobbling, we had to turn the engine off, which means there's no air conditioner. Whole 100-degree comment. So, we're going to fire that back up. You're going to wobble for a second. We're going to finish our ice cream, and then we'll talk about Alliance RV. Wobble, 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 wobble.
All right, well, we made it back to home, and I can tell you now that ice cream's in my belly, I'm tired.
Me too, which means we need to get on to the last but not least competitor.
Keystone.
Surprise.
Just kidding. No, that would be Alliance RV.
Specifically the Valors, of course, the toy haulers.
Right. So it's no secret that we're friends with Chris and Martha, who are ambassadors. And so there's a lot of people that have speculated already. It's like, well, they're not even really, they already know what they're going to do. That's not necessarily true.
It's not. We have a lot of friends over there, but that doesn't seal the deal in any way.
Right. So let's talk about Valor or Alliance. What's the pros?
The pros are, again, from the accountant, they are a lesser price point, which is appealing to me, and I don't really feel like you sacrifice the quality in that regard. They have good customer service. Everybody raves about that. So all those kind of foundation things are good. I have a con that I'll get to, but what are your pros?
So community.
Absolutely.
I would say even maybe possibly stronger than Grand Design.
I think so, yeah.
Not bigger, but stronger than. And I say that in terms of they have a lot of little pop-ups, and the owners really kind of take charge.
Yeah, they do.
Of a lot of that. And that happens with Grand Design too, but it seems to happen more with Alliance.
Yeah, there's a lot of pride that people have in those rigs.
Yeah, I was going to say they're really passionate about it.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, the customer service. I know you said that, but to me, I witnessed it firsthand in terms of what they do to go above and beyond for people. We've been the last 2 years at the Florida RV Super Show, the one in Tampa every January. We were in the Grand Design booth for a little while. We were in the Alliance booth for a little while. We were in the Brinkley booth, the two-rig booth.
That's right.
For a little while. And we saw the owners and the upper management team in the booth all the time.
Yes.
I couldn't say that for any other company. Well, Brinkley, we saw them out there quite a bit.
Absolutely.
But Grand Design, I didn't see anybody from management. They had plenty of representation. That wasn't the issue. It's not like there was nobody there.
Right.
They just didn't have their upper management there.
Right. And to me, Alliance gives a little bit more of a younger vibe. And so they're just more in tune with what their customers want.
Yeah. I will also say too that, and I think they call it customer-driven feedback. They really do, from what I've seen, take what people are saying and try to implement in the rig if they can.
Sure.
Not always feasible, but they really try to listen and then put that in or take it out or whatever the comment is and see if it's something that they can plausibly do. So
those are the pros.
Cons.
I'm sorry, guys. That bathroom is rough.
Valors. Talking about Valors.
Valors.
I will say I've seen some Paradigm bathrooms that are amazing.
tiny little corner sink with the mirror that you're gonna hit your face on when you wash your face. It's rough. The shower was rough for a long time. I think that may be in the works of changing.
Right.
But anyways, that was a big actually steering point away the first time we looked at RVs.
Yep.
And it's still a negative. So I sincerely hope they're in the process of redoing that.
The other thing too, when we first looked at RVs, they were only 3 years old.
Yeah, it's true.
And they stumbled a little bit out of the blocks.
Yeah.
And I think most companies are going to. It's going back to our con with Brinkley, is they're bringing new. You can do and say all the right things, and you still there's the unforeseen that you can't control.
Absolutely.
And Alliance encountered that. Now they seem to have bounced back from that. And those same problems don't seem to exist anymore that we heard of.
Because of their customer service driven, mindset.
So, but yeah, the bathrooms are a little bit rough.
And to be nitpicky, just like you were on the square windows and the light coming in and stuff, the color of the couches, some of the aesthetic things about the Valors have not been my favorites, but again, I know they're all changeable.
I don't love the glass counter or the glass cabinetry doors.
Right.
That drives me nuts. We're going to end up putting something behind them because I don't want to see through that.
We did it in, the Grand Design. We had the same issue. They're in every rig. So I understand that we can't just change that, and you don't want a solid wood door.
But you say they're in every rig. It's almost every door in the Valor has that, unless it's like a below the counter door kind of thing.
Right.
Seems
like a lot more in the Valors.
But in the Momentum and the Solitudes and the Brinkleys, there are a few, but not many, and they're frosted typically. So it's very, and they're blacked out. So you can still kind of see through them in the Valor, and it's just not my favorite aesthetic. So now with that being said too, they're innovating. So, and I say that in terms of one of the cool things that's going to be on the new Valors, because we've done all this research now, is they're going to a complete water manifold system. That's only something you found on Class A. So I think Alliance does a good job of finding the right places to put money into the rig. And then just like the frou-frou-y stuff, like the One Control LCI app that I'll be honest, I don't hardly ever use in the Grand Design. It doesn't exist. It's just all manual. That doesn't bother me. Anyway, so that is the 3 manufacturers that we've been looking at. And, well, if you made it this far in the video, as a thank you, I think we might as well tell them one that we're definitely not doing, because we've started the buying process. We're committed now.
We are, and it's not a Grand Design.
It's not. Why is it not a Grand Design?
Several reasons, but...
Remember that cons list?
The cons list. For me, part of it was they didn't really have a floor plan that totally met our needs. That was really a big one. The floor plan we liked didn't really have a dining area. It was, or you could get one with a teeny tiny couch
and no storage.
And
then you turn around. So like, let's use the 410, which is the Chad and Tara changing lanes rig. Cool looking rig. We don't quite like the bathroom setup. I understand why they did it.
Sure.
It makes complete sense. It looks fine. For us, we just didn't like it.
Wasn't a good fit for us.
But that had the best storage. You turn around, then you look at one of my favorite ones, which was the 395, the L-shaped sofa, Todd and Sheila's rig. Switch it up. I love everything about the interior of that. I don't love how the bathroom is in the toy hauler space, because it's all in the toy hauler space. And literally the storage is like that much of my arm. That's it. Because they say the toy hauler space is the storage. Well, the toy hauler space in ours is going to become an office, dog room, mother-in-law suite.
Right.
I don't want to just toss all of my sewer stuff in there and all that. So,
so ultimately they didn't have a floor plan that really fit the needs that we had.
Right.
So,
but yeah, so no Grand Design. So we're down between Brinkley and Alliance. We know what we're doing. Do you?
Recently, actually.
What do you think we're doing is a good question, because they both have some very pretty 4s. Big thumbs up. So. All right, well, that's going to do it for us. Next week, we're actually going to show you what we picked. So we are taking off to go to Indiana this week, and we can't wait to share what we actually picked.
Yes. All right, until next time. Bye, Mom.
Also, as a nugget, cicadas in Texas, really freaking loud.
I'm gonna eat